Yo, what is up? My favorite tank in the entire game, the AMX 1357, or in this case, this is the AMX 1357 GF. They are both identical, exactly the same tank. The reason why I'm making this video today is because I want to tell you, you still have around, give or take, 12 hours to pick up this tank on the advent calendar for 4,500 gold. Like I said, this is my favorite tank and arguably the best tank in the game. We are in Prokhorovka, or is this Malinovka? Sorry, this is Malinovka South spawn. Now usually the videos you watch are normally north spawn and it shows you the winning team always having the spotting advantage. I am showing you a spotting position where you can try to catch out those light tanks that are trying to get into position early. Now you see my position here. If I'm here early, I can catch out anyone that's trying to make it to the middle of the map to try and spot. Now even though we've lost two tanks down here because they have YOLO'd forward and died, and the KV-85 got spotted early, we still had a significant amount of spotting, over 722 amount of spotting. I was not spotted. I know there's no one here, so that's why I'm moving forward. Now this is the most fun tank you can buy in this game. This is a challenging tank, not easy to play, but very rewarding if you know how to play it. Now this tank is definitely not a learner tank. This, if you are new to light tanks, this is not a tank you want to start playing light tanks in. If you want to play light tanks as a beginner, go pick up a Type 64 or try something in tier 6 before you graduate to the 1357. The 1357, you need to be, apply a little bit of finesse. You need a little bit more experience, but you want to play this tank because of the fun factor. Now you see me running this tank 50-50 ammo loadout, but these days I'm running it full APCR, full premium shells. This tank is worth wasting your credits on, and that's because the standard penetration on this tank is very poor, only 143 millimeters of standard AP penetration, while the premium APCR shells give you 195 millimeters of penetration. This is a auto loader. It carries 8 shells in a single clip. It can fire off all 8 shells in 7 seconds, doing 720 damage. Reload time 15.5 seconds. Like I said, if you are new to light tanks, this is not the tank you want to learn in, but this is the tank you want to enjoy your light tank gameplay in as soon as you've clocked up your hours and earn your feathers. Once you've learned how to enjoy light tanks, this is the ultimate light tank to enjoy yourself in. So go to the store and pick this up for 4,500 gold. It costs nothing in the grand scheme of things. Yes, it costs 4,500 gold. It does cost some money, but if you compare that to a tier 8 premium tank that goes for anywhere between 8 to 10, 11,000 gold, this is a fantastic deal and you will get a real bang for your buck. Like I said, this tank, I fire a lot of premium shells, and this means this does not earn a lot of credits when you play. You don't play this tank for earning credits, you play this tank for the sheer joy of having fun. I run optics, I run vertical stabilizers, and I run vents, but nowadays I'm thinking about swapping out that vents for the improved rotation mechanics so that my aim will be a little bit better on distances like this. It's got amazing camo. If you have it loaded out with a BIA with camo crew, you can get it up to 38% camo rating. You do not want to play this tank as a passive scout. No camping in bushes, spotting out the enemy. This is a damage dealer. This is one of those tanks where you teach yourself how to do damage in light tanks. If you're playing this tank as a passive scout, you are missing most of the fun that you can have in this tank. This tank is about doing damage, clipping out tanks. Now I made a big mistake here, facing off with a E20 with a Jack Panzer and trying to out clip him, but he reloads quite quickly and I take 2-3 hits from him, which I shouldn't have, and that was my only mistake in this game. Other than that, I played this game up to perfection, the best that I could have played it. Like I was saying, this tank is about doing damage, so don't try to equip this tank with camouflage net or binocular telescope. This tank is an aggressive tank. This tank is your ticket to taking the next step. If you are a beginner of light tanks, if you're new to light tanks, if you've graduated from tier 6 light tank gameplay and you want to take the next step and try to become a better light tank player, this is a great tank to do it in. Why? Because it's got good camo values. You can have over 500 meters of view range if you have the crew and if you have optics mounted on the tank, and this is your next step into becoming when you're progressing into the tier 10 light tank gameplay with the LT100s or the Panzer Wagon or the WZ or the T49. This tank is a stepping stone, because if you play this tank as a passive scouter, you are going to miss out the potential of this tank. The majority of fun in this tank is about doing damage, spotting for yourself. So this is a great transition for you if you are learning light tanks and wanting to step up your game and wanting to progress into higher tiers of light tanks. This is a great tank to learn from, because number one, it is a lot of fun. Number one, it is quite powerful and quite OP, so you are punished less for making mistakes. You know what I mean? You can survive longer, you can spot further, you can clip out enemies. It is absolutely fantastic. Now, why is this tank very good? Almost OP, well, for me it's OP anyway. This is one of the very few light tanks that survived the LT apocalypse sometime around the 9 point something patch. They nerfed all the light tanks. All the light tanks either got nerfed or they got bumped up to a tier higher. For example, the T54 lightweight, which is a tier 9 now, used to be a tier 8 and it was very powerful. They nerfed it and bumped it up to tier 9. That is why you see a lot of light tanks in tier 9 now. Now, this being a premium tank and people paying good money for it, they could not touch this tank, so they left it. So this is one of the remaining light tanks that remain untouched, unnerfed. It remains the way it was since the day it was introduced into the game. So it was this tank, the AMX 1357. It was the Type 62 Chinese light tank, also a tier 7, and the Type 64 Chinese American light. The Type 64 Chinese light tank in tier 6. These tanks remained untouched. Nobody nerfed them, and they were not buffed to a higher tier. They were not pushed up to a higher tier. That is why they are tier for tier, very strong for their tiers. Just like the Type 62, which is also very strong, and the Type 64, which is also a very strong light tank. If you ever get those tanks on sale, they are an absolute bargain to buy. Again, those tanks Although very powerful, they are not exactly super easy to play with. It takes some time to learn the ways of the light tank, but they are super rewarding to play. And you see me run out of shells in this game. I have 0 APCR shells, 0 AP shells. That is why nowadays I play this tank with just full APCR, and the reason is because if you don't carry any AP shells, as I did in this game, which I carried 50-50, if I just carried full APCR shells, more of my shells would have realized. I would have made more of my shots instead of bouncing, and I would have done more damage than just 2,367 damage in my tier 7 light tank. I've spotted 3,052. I could have done a lot more damage if I just fired APCR shells. Now remember, this tank does not have very good dispersion, 0.35, but if you run food, if you run BIA crew, you can get the dispersion down to 0.31, 0.32, and yeah, I hope you had enough information for you. You still have a little bit of time for you to pick up yourself a 1357 for 4,500 gold in the Advent calendar. Hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to give this a like. I'll see you on the next video. Bye bye.